Hello everyone, Luke here, and it seems like we're finally heading towards the finale of part 2 based on this chapter. The part that started off with Nico sacrificing herself to turn herself into a kid to save Mori after he got shot at the end of part one of Witch Watch. Yes, Scoot, don't think I was kidding when I said I would spoil the ending of part one to kind of get you to stop watching these and go and read the manga or go and catch up with it and then come back and watch these. I had to do that. Yeah, so Scoot, Mori gets shot at the end of part 1 and Nico turns herself into a little girl to save her by giving up her magic. So there you go. You wanted spoilers. I gave you spoilers despite the fact I was saying don't watch these because it spoils the manga. So yeah, now that I've got that out of the way, it's time to move on to what will essentially be the finale of part 2 because we're getting into the training arc of Nico getting back to her normal self, and it's going to start with this chapter 207, titled "Makeup and Shake Up," which with that kind of chapter, when you first read it, it's like, I mean, obviously it's going to involve makeup in some way, but like you have no idea what we're going for here. So yeah, the chapter starts off with Khan and Nico on a outing with each other, possibly just to get some shopping, like because you see Khan carrying a bag. Is it a bag? Yeah, it's a bag of vegetables, so they're probably out shopping, doing Mori's work, doing his Mori's job for him, because they do establish like, oh, Mori's a little bit late, and Carl mentions like, oh yeah, he's got some other business taken care of, and he's the last person to ever do something like that. So he's not really interested in girls, but he's been chatting them up recently, so this is kind of like getting red flags for both of them. Are like, yeah, something is up here. And of course they spot Mori with a girl, and they totally get like the most misunderstanding ever. They see Mori with a girl, never really acts that much with girls outside of like the closest friends, like Nico, Charming Ban, Kara, like the parents and that. But yeah, they see him with a girl and they're like, what could this possibly be? This could be discussing some serious bit, like yeah, they might not be talking about romance or whatever. They could just be talking some serious business, like getting some ideas together. And Nico says in regards to Khan saying this, because I can imagine that Khan seeing this is like thinking like, oh my god, Nico's in love with Mori, like, can't let him see that. So like, yeah, just talking about business, not romance, Nico. And Nico says, oh, what business, like what? Before he said, look at them, they're smiling and laughing. That doesn't look like, but that doesn't look like serious business to me. And is she showing him some websites? Don't tell me she's trying to get him involved with some sketchy web business out there. Knowing Mori, he'll probably take one look at it and be like, yeah, this is obviously so sketchy, I am not getting involved with this whatsoever. So after both of them are freaked out pretty much to the nth degree, Khan is just like, okay, look, we're staring at them. It's not polite to stare, Nico, so we might have to get out of here and we'll ask about later, which, okay, good that they're not like jumping to like, I mean, they have been jumping to conclusions, but they're not like going to be like, oh, he's obviously doing something behind her back. It's like, no, they're probably gonna ask him. Car's like, okay, let's get out of here. We might ask him about it later, but don't try and bug him about it. He's got a right to do what he wants. And Nico was like, yeah, I know. I was getting a bit too excited. I mean, it could have gone that way. Like, they'll be like, look, we're going to ask him later. But, yeah, Khan is like, look, Nico, like, just don't bug him about it. But, of course, we all know Nico is going to bug him about it. And sure enough, that's exactly what she does. Like, as we see Khan just be like, Oh my god, oh my god. I said don't bug him about it, and that's the first thing you ask him as soon as we get a chance to actually see him. You go and ask him about the thing that we said we wouldn't bring it up to him. But yeah, Murray's just there like, huh, saw me at the cafe. Is that all you saw me? Is that all you saw me about? I mean, I was there because they have good coffee, so no surprise since it was opened by a famous bistro. And Nico's like, no, Moy, I'm not talking about the coffee. This is not the thing that I'm actually talking about here. You're with a girl, and he's like, oh yeah, I was with Kobayashi. Yeah, what's the big deal? Like, of course, Murray is like completely dense when it comes to like reading the room when it comes to romance, because he hides all those feelings internally. Like, you have to use some outside force to like get him to think like what he's actually thinking. But yeah, he does not see it. It's like, yeah, I was seeing a girl, I was seeing Kobayashi. Like, why is that such a big deal? And Nico will be like, it's a big deal to me because you're meant to be my yoga. You're meant to be looking after me, my familiar, not going around bugging around with other girls. And it's like, oh my god, Nico. I mean, I know you're a teenager at this point, but you're gonna grow up again. And at the same time, yeah. He's going to talk with a girl. It's like, yeah, what's the big thing? I get what you're going at with Nico, but seriously, you can't, if you're going to go around, like, accusing Murray and be like, you're with another girl, then it's like, there's no way his romance feelings are going to reemerge, as creepy as it's going to be, because of the fact that Murray's been acting like her dad all this time, and now that she's getting back into being her regular self, that's still going to be, like, one of the weirdest things to actually address as we go forward with the series. So Murray carries on with his explanation and saying like, look, Nico, I know exactly what you're trying to say here. You're trying to think like, oh, this might she might actually be seeing this as my girlfriend, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The reason why I was meeting her, Nico, is because I was asking her for advice. Like, I was asking for you. I was asking advice for you, Nico. So all this misunderstanding is your fault because you asked me about dancing, right? And considering Murray is more of a fan of jeans than he is at dancing, it makes sense. Like, okay, I've got to get advice from someone. So who's the person that I can go to? Kobayashi's little sister. She's in middle school. She goes to dance classes. And yeah, Nico is there like, oh yeah, I did kind of mention that now that you've brought it up here. Wait, that's really all it was? And yeah, Murray basically confirms like, yeah, there was no romance about this whatsoever. It was just strictly business to help you out when it comes to dancing. I asked her about dance classes and she says, why don't we go somewhere quiet where we can chat all about it? That's all it was. And Nico once again just blurs out like, dang, you see, I knew it. I knew you were seeing a girl about dancing. You're gonna take that phrase and gonna go and dance with other people and everything. And Murray's just there like, Nico, what the hell are you freaking out about? And just getting really frustrated about how dense Murray could be. So at this point, Nico's like, okay, time for another emergency romance council with Nico. She gets everyone else in the house back around the living room table as they're questioning, like, what I want to know first is what is Murray like at school? Can you tell me about that? Which again makes sense because Nico, I mean, when she's back to her normal self, she'll know exactly what Murray is like at school. But since she's still a teenager, she's not quite reached that form yet. And yeah, Keigo and Con are there, just like, why are we even? Oh, Nico's in a bad mood again. To be totally honest, Morito does talk with pretty girls often, and yeah, Keigo, you're not helping here. You are not helping Murray's case here to like get Nico to feel like there's nothing romance going on. As he continues to say, yeah, Morito only looks like the stoic type. He's actually likes talking with people. He's always hanging out in my room to chat. Heck, he'll actively butt in to people's conversations about his interests, or if he thinks they're having something wrong. And yeah, you could just imagine like Murray just I could just imagine Murray in school just like writing down something, and then he hears something about vintage jeans. It's like, wait, my vintage jeans ticket is over there. Like, oh, do you want to talk about vintage jeans? Right, they came out in 1950, and just showing like his entire collection. I could just imagine him just showing his entire collection of just vintage jeans photographs. He's probably got a photo album of just vintage jeans. And by the way, we're so close. We are so close to the jeans chapter being adapted in the anime, and I cannot wait for that. I mean, next week we are not next week. This Sunday, we are getting the chapter within a chapter, because we're getting Mirage's chapter adapted, and that is just going to go so wild. But when it comes to his actual romance situation at school, Khan basically confirms like, oh, he gets asked out at least once a month, but he's got his own problems, his own duties to contend with, so that's why he's always turning everyone down. And Nico's like, oh, okay, I get it. So he sure is popular. Anyway, to sum it up, Murray isn't awkward around girls at all, and he feels comfortable talking to anyone, boy and girl. It's not like he doesn't like girls, he's just too busy for romance right now. Plus, he's more popular than ever, right? Girls come to him to try the look once a month at least. So, like, Nico was questioning about this, like, okay, so this is how it is with Murray, and Carl basically confirms, like, yeah, so that many girls interested in, like, this is what Nico is saying back to Khan, as Khan is getting like kind of nervous now. He's kind of getting swayed, like, oh my god, I'm being back into a corner. I'm sorry, boy, for what I'm about to say here. As Nico says, then like, what? Don't you mean that, you know, if he didn't have his streets to protect me, he will be going after girls left, right and centre? Don't you think he'd have a girlfriend if that wasn't the case, if he wasn't doing it protecting me? And this is where just the whole mood completely shifts, like, oh my god, yeah. Nico is kind of right. If he didn't have that, he might... No, this is Mori we're talking about. Like, even if he didn't have this this duty to protect Nico, he'd probably just be as dense as ever when it comes to romance. But Nico says, like, I need to be more proactive, do more to attract Mori's attention. Basically, going back to what she did at the beginning of the series, where it's like, I've got to get Mori's attention, I've got to use a spell to relax my beauty. So this is, like, going to be the rehash of what's going to happen. Like, way back at the beginning of the series, where she tried to do this, and it went absolutely abysmal. This is going to go the exact same way, as we get the flashback to chapter 12, which was adapted very early on in the anime, where she was trying to use her looks to kind of get Mori's attention, and he was just there like bamboozled, like, what the hell is going on here? And they even point this out, like, yeah, Nico, you've been there, done that, and it failed. And she goes on and says that maybe we could stick to some kind of detector, Mori, and have it measure how much his heart flutters when I do cute little things. Yeah, so she's going through all the spells to actually get Mori's attention. It's like, no, you've done that. So you did the heart thing, you did that in chapter 106. So you've old self has basically tried her best really hard, but the biggest problem with Mori is that he's a blockhead. He will not get it no matter how much you would have to literally just peck him on the lips, kiss him, and just say, I love you, I want to be your girlfriend. That is literally the only way you could get Mori at this point, to be like, hello Mori, anybody home in there? As Nico says, like, oh, I guess getting Mori's attention is just that, yeah, no shit, it's that hard. As they continue on and say, used up a lot of spells to try to learn what Mori's feelings for you are, but you never really used any of that to make yourself look more attracted to him. And this is where Nico gets the idea of, like, oh, spells to make me look more attractive. I've got it. I've got the perfect spell. I've got the perfect spell to use, which she uses Cosmo Glow Up. So this is a spell of various cosmetics, and then applying their essence, and then applying them to enhance your features. So eyeshadows will make your eyes look bigger. Mascara will make your eyelashes look longer. lip gloss will make your lips look plumper, but only to any humans within 25 feet who's actually looking at you. And yeah, you know for a fact that did spell, like, I apologise, my camera just cut off in mid sentence because the wire got cut out. So I apologise for that technical issue. But yeah, back to what I was saying. This will get edited in the review where I was talking about the cosmetic. I'll go for what I was saying about the spell. So you know for a fact that this spell is gonna just go absolutely abysmal. Like, I've been watching the Witch Watch anime with a few people from the Control Chaos Discord server. At the Control Chaos 100 Girlfriends Discord server, and they know, like, as soon as the spell is used in the series, they're like, okay, how is this gonna be messed up? And it starts sort of with Nico saying, oh my gosh, no way, my eyes look so much bigger, I'm adorable. And Ban says, wow, it looks like you photoshopped your face onto it. You already have big cute eyes though. You're sure you may be outdoing it? And Nico says, so is that Ban's question, like, oh, so this is what you're going to use to get Morihito to notice you? And she says, nope, I've got another spell for that. Oh my god, so we got two spells on top of each other. And she uses Peak Speak. So Peak Speak is a spell that makes you say pre-recorded lines that are just at the right moment. Like, yeah, just at the right moment for what? That is literally the question I'm going to be asking, like, what it's going to be. So I've already prepared lines for this situation. So they're going to be so cool, so didn't know. They're basically just going to be the so lines. Like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, I so didn't know, and all of that. Like, oh my word. Like, this is only going to backfire in, like, the biggest way possible. As Nico says, if you're okay with it, Ban says, if you're okay with it, I guess you're going to take a walk with Morihito like this. And yeah, one more spell, so 3 spells on top of each other. This is gonna just go absolutely insane. But yeah, one thing I do want to point out is that Nico basically getting all this information of, like, okay, how do I use shelf lines for Mori? I'm gonna use it off the internet. As Ban says, yeah, don't believe everything you read. Yeah, don't believe it, and don't believe everything you read. This is why a lot of people, I know this is kind of like a bit hypocritical because this is gonna go on YouTube, but yeah, sometimes you just need to get away from the internet. Go do some reading, do some acting, like what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I'm writing for a new play for my drama group, which I'm so looking forward to. Told some of the people the ideas that I've got for it, and they're really excited about it. So hopefully I'll have that ready in time for next week. But yeah, so yeah. This is this is all gonna backfire in a big way. And sure enough, she uses high ground to get Mori basically floating in the air, or what he perceives to be floating. So she explains, I cast a spell that makes it seem like where we're walking is 100 feet higher, and Mori's just there like, why have you even done this? Like, what is the point of this spell? And she explains, I thought it'd help you train to handle heights. And she says, like, oh, this is a suspension bridge technique. Basically, if there is a thing where a guy and a girl are together in a heart-pounding moment, then this should, in her head, stimulate the romantic feelings of the guy in order to protect her. But of course, the one that's getting freaked out the most here is Nico, that she didn't think it'll be this high, that she's too scared to move, and she's just like proper freaked out, like just the bulging eyes, the charity, like, That's the kind of reaction Nico is giving at this moment in time. So as Nico starts to calm down, Murray says, yeah, 100 feet is high for most people. Didn't you realise that ahead of time? Like, did you think of what the plan was going to be, Nico, beforehand? And what if happened? And what if it happened? Did you think about the consequences of what would happen if you were susceptible to it? I've trained enough that heights don't bother me, though. And this where Nico uses a so cool line, but her eyes are just like really swollen, and the makeup is sort of like becoming more and more elaborate, and Murray is like picking up on this like okay, but there's one thing I don't get here. Like, how can you fly on a broom if you are scared of being this high up? Which, yeah, that is a good point. Like, she can fly on a broom. I guess like once she reaches the teenage phase, she'll be like over a fear of heights. Maybe she had the fear when she was starting to learn how to fly, but once she got over that fear from flying, she was like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. But she continues on and saying like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, I didn't know. So like that, is it me, or is this like really, like the being like having the most awkward conversation about heights and questioning Nico, like how could she be on a broom when she's scared of heights? So Murray says like, oh, do you want me to call it off? You really want to take a walk this high despite not liking heights? And Nico's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Don't call it off. So he says like, okay, I guess we'll have to do it this way. He scoops her up in arms, very romantic, like kind of like when you're holding the girl, like, don't worry, I'm your prince. I'm here to save you, kind of thing. But in Murray's eyes, like, oh, we'll walk will a few minutes walking like this be enough? And yeah, Nico's makeup is just like becoming much more elaborate, becoming more like a mannequin puppet doll figure. So cool. And Murray is like starting to really notice this, like, what the hell is wrong with your face? And Nico says, oh, so incredible, you can do it. Yeah, the makeup is just like really so out there now that even Murray like is breaking at this point, like, what the hell is going on with you, Nico? Why are your eyes and lips so abnormally huge? As he concludes, like, oh, she must have cast some kind of spell on her makeup. The longer it sits on her skin, the more intense it gets. She just hasn't realized it yet. So yeah, he basically gets the entire situation that the downside to the spell is that the more it stays on her, the more intense that it gets with the makeup. So given the time, it's probably been insensitive to point that out, as he says like, oh, you're wearing makeup today, Nico, and she says, yeah, it's so like that. Before Murray says, well, you were enthusiastic. You did a good job. You're so stylish. You really went out of your way today. As Nico says, oh, you're really gonna say that to yourself? But yeah, it's stylish. And then, as we're back in the house, Nico is just like feeling like depressed, like, oh my god, I can't believe he didn't even notice until it was literally spelt out to him, and I can't believe I didn't notice that that this was like this until I looked in the mirror. Like, she obviously saw as soon as she got home, looked in the mirror, was like, what the hell did I do to my face? The whole time Murray was carrying me, I was literally over key and no quantum and talking like a stupid broken record. As Ban says, well, that is cute by certain definition. And this where Nico says like, oh, Murray hasn't even noticed, he was just nice and didn't even say anything. Living with your crush isn't so easy. It's awesome and amazing, but at the same time it's bittersweet. And this where Nico opens up a letter from her mother. She explains Span like, yeah, she's been off collecting many of the other butterflies that I need to get myself back to my regular form. And the letter's content is Nico's mother saying like, hey, how are you doing? Hope you're well. We're finished nearly collecting the butterflies over here. When we're done, we'd like you to come and stay in Yosekio. from other soul. I've probably butchered that name, but yeah, basically this whole leading into a training arc for Nico. Once she's had her true body back, she'll need the proper environment to readjust physically and mentally to learn the spells that she'll soon need. So Nico's mother will be coming up and picking her up long before, and this is where she's thinking like a whole month, and if Mori doesn't need to guard me, I'm sure he'll get a girlfriend, because yeah, being away for a whole month, that's going to put a damper on anyone's spirit. So they're going to tell him right away, and this is where the chapter ends. But I feel like they're all going to go, and I don't feel like it's just going to be Nico and the gang. So not just Nico, Ban, Keigo, Mori, and Khan. I feel like Nemu's going to join them, and Charmy, because this will be great training for Nemu and Charmy to kind of be in supportive roles for Nico when she does get back into her proper form, which, by the way, I am glad that we're actually getting to that point where it does feel like we're reaching the end of part 2. I feel like this training arc is good, that we've got coming up, and I feel like this is the next series. Like the training to get Nico back to her proper self is probably going to be the wrap up for part 2, and going to end with Nico becoming her regular self again. So the end of the Adventures with the Little Witch. Now, Nemu and Charmy joining them, that's just a hyper what if scenario, but at the same time Nemu is very much integral to most of the series arcs in the series. I've just had a few chapters earlier focusing on Nemu, focusing on her relationship with her grandmother, focusing on her mother. So maybe Nemu's mother is going to be there and going to be part of the training as well, and also bringing Nemu into the frame. Which is nice. That I would love to know more about Nemu's mother as a character. Like, what's her connection to Nico's family? What's her connection? I mean, I know she's an elite witch, but how well does she know Nico's family? How well does she know? I guess she doesn't know Mori's family because she didn't know Mori before meeting him when she was disguised as Mori. Like, oh my god, there's so many ways this future training arc could go, and obviously bring Charmy back, because Charmy's a witch. Charmy could do with more training, and just get her back in, in a natural way back into the story, which would be great for this, because it'll be witch training. All 3 of them are witches, and it'd be nice to have all 3 main witches that we've seen in the series come together to have training, in an essence, to get Nico back up. But that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Personally, it was a really fun, chillax chapter, but like I said, really nice that we're finally getting, okay, we now need to get back into the story, get back into some serious arcs. So anyway, what did you guys think of this chapter? Let me know, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this has been Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.